Good morning, how are you today? It's Friday the 30th of November in Brisbane, Australia, and it's the last day of spring today. So we're going to be moving into summer in Australia while the Northern Hemisphere moves into winter shortly. And already you've had snowfalls and already we're sitting with fans on and coolers on, so it can feel quite odd, and we're ahead of the rest of the world day-wise as well. Well, ahead of the Northern Hemisphere, that's for sure. Today I want to talk to you about the chaos that anxiety can cause in our life. And okay, let me get back into the order of everything, because that's what happens when anxiety comes along. Everything becomes disordered, and it's not our fault, okay? It's not our fault, but we're adults and we take responsibility. My name's Linda, I'm a trauma recovery coach, and I love coming and sharing information with you, because as you gather information and you gather the language around what we need to address, it makes it easier to take it away. So take notes and sit with your therapist, sit with your trauma coach, whoever it is, sit with them and work through it. Because when we work through things with somebody else, we have all these, as Oprah calls them, aha moments. We have all these personal realizations where we can then begin to change up what's happening in our life, both internally and externally. Okay, so I was thinking this morning about how in the beginning anxiety feels like this ball of wool that's unravelled on the inside of us. We can't find either end to begin to grab hold of it and put it in an order. We're absolutely holding on tight in our chest, and then outside of us, we're wearing this mask that we've got everything in order, we're all good, don't worry, I'll get it sorted. And usually we're saying I'll get it sorted to quite a number of people, okay? Meanwhile, we're running around absolutely dying on the inside because we haven't had a chance to stop and take a breath. So what are we going to do when we haven't stopped and taken a breath for ourselves, okay? Putting boundaries in place for other people is a whole other chat show, so we won't worry about that today. But if you haven't looked into boundaries, Cloud and Townsend have a brilliant book called Boundaries, and it's been updated. One of my clients actually went to get it recently in Brisbane, and because they did a new release with obviously updated boundaries, because when it was first written, social media and bullying wasn't a big thing, but now it is. So, and plus there's other things that are more prevalent now too. So if you can't get it in a bookshop, just order it online. It's so simple, gets delivered to your door, and it's worth reading because it explains boundaries and all the different aspects of it. So boundaries aren't about me keeping you out, they're about me being able to put my internal world in order, okay? Now, so what we want to do when we've come through childhood trauma, okay, or we've come through toxic and dysfunctional families, we need to be able to train our brain to put things in a conscious order, all right? Now, the whole brain stuff, if you want information on the brain and why we haven't got things in order as an adult, just let me know, and down below, comment down below, and what I'll do is put a link there for you to another video that I've done to help us understand why we need the order, what's happened, why we don't have that order, etc., etc. So what we want to do to begin finding the ends of the balls of wool that are on the inside of us and they're just unravelled, even though we've told no one, okay, is we want to sit down somewhere peaceful. So when we're out and about, our mind is constantly looking, so we're using all of our senses to assess what's happening around us, and we're taking it on board in our brain, literally. And from there, our brain, from its previous patterns, will produce, do I need to be safe? Do I need to take action? And everything in between. So what we need to do is sit somewhere peaceful so our mind relaxes. So our mind isn't focused on everything outside of us. We can become aware of what's been built into us. All right? Now, our cognitive functions do need this peaceful environment. And for some of us as mums, sometimes the only peaceful environment we get is going to the loo or sitting in a wardrobe. I've heard of mums that sit in a wardrobe too, just to get some peace. And it does. And think about it. We sit down and we go, I can breathe. And when we can breathe, we can come up with new solutions to whatever's happening around us in our environment. So what we want to do in order to find the ends of the balls of string is sit down in that peaceful environment, grab your journal or just, grab your phone and hit the peaceful environment. When we do this, we want to be honest with ourselves. What are the pain points that are happening for me today? So in order that we do this, we just want to slow down the breathing and we want to be able to be honest with ourselves what our pain points are, irrespective of what the world around us says shouldn't be pain points. Because if we've come through trauma and dysfunction, we often know the rules of the world and the rules around us, as in, in order to be fully known and fully accepted, I have to behave in a certain manner in order that other people feel comfortable. Okay? Now, what I need to do when I've got anxiety is sit down and go, but hey, irrespective of what other people think, these are my pain points. Okay? These are the things that have got me unraveled today. All right? Now, and that's okay. It's a really, really good exercise to do. It's good because then we're able to begin to change our perceptions, our realizations, our understandings, and we can do that through education, through information, through reaching out to other people, getting feedback, but only from people that we trust, people who we know have our best intentions at heart and don't run around telling us that we have to behave in a manner that's comfortable for them. Okay, now I want you to take this piece of information on board because it took me a long time to understand this. We don't know what we don't know. Okay? So when we've had trauma as well, we don't know what we don't know. But the good news is we can find out what it is we don't know, even if we don't know what the question is. Okay? So sometimes I've sat with professionals and said, there's something I need to know, but I don't know what the question is. Okay? And so what we do is build a picture around what it is I'm looking at in order that I can just focus on that and then get to the pain point. And then the question comes. Okay? Now, we want to create order so that our brain becomes comfortable with order. So when we've come through trauma, our brain literally goes straight to the amygdala, to the emotional center. And try me out on this, okay? Do a test for yourself. Today, if someone or something irritates you, I want you to recognise whether you go straight to the emotional center and you get really ticked off. And I'm laughing because I did this the other day. And I didn't know that because of the trauma, this was how my brain operated, okay? But once I did, I began to observe whether it was true or not. So you can test it out and you will be able to see whether this is true or not. When you're having an emotional reaction to something that's really ticked you off or someone that's really ticked you off, notice if your first reaction is to be logical about it and put it to one side, or if you have an emotional reaction and you buy into it and you've got steam coming out your ears. And I'm so laughing because I pictured me doing this. The other day I had to go for a drive half an hour away for acupuncture, and I got the car and I'm driving along and I'm listening to my thoughts, and I went, oh my goodness, I'm so having an emotional reaction. Steam coming out my ears, and I laughed and I laughed. And I went, I need to be able to sit and just put this into a logical sequence. And you know what? You can really feel when it's your brain that has taken over and gone straight to the emotional reaction, because it's really hard to get back into the logic because the limbic system is getting ready for fight, flight or freeze. And trying to be logical is really, really hard. I actually had to sit there as I drove and just do slow, deep breaths and do some grounding before I could get into the logic of the whole situation. And it wasn't a bad situation. It was just that my brain is so used to going off in order to keep me safe. It's like, let's go, let's be safe. Where do I have to go? What do I have to do? So I laugh now, but it is hard work, all right? And I've been aware over the last few days how I've really, really pushed for my brain to remain focused on what I want to do and what I need to do each day. And I have to push it, because if I don't take control and push it, then it'll keep going off and I'll keep doing bits here and bits there. And you know, the video the other day where I described how I was saying, yeah, but, well, yeah, I want to get out of that. So I've been training my brain. No, these are the things I've got to focus on. And we do. When we've come through the trauma, the dysfunction, the toxicity, we have to be the ones that retrain our brain to get back into the logic and keep focused. And whilst it's hard work, it is doable, okay? Absolutely doable. It's like an athlete, okay? They don't ever become an overnight success, especially at a world level. They put years and years and years and years of training into it, right? And it's the same for us. When we have this information and we can go, right, I realise that my brain just defaulted to an emotional reaction, then what we can do is go, all right, I want to train my brain back into the logic. So when you've written down your pain points of today, okay, so in your journal, you've written down your pain points, what's happening for you, then you want to say, ask yourself the question about these pain points, what is it that I don't know? So if your pain point is around finances, we want to say, what is it that I don't know about finances? So do I need to, and sometimes we don't know what it is we don't know. Do I need to budget? No, I got budgeting okay. So then after budgeting, I really don't know what I don't know. So I've got to start looking into learning more about money and learning how I can direct my money better. And there's obviously things I don't know. Now, in order for me to feel comfortable, I have to then ask myself, am I going to feel comfortable going to someone and talking about and saying, look, I don't know what it is I don't know, but can you help me? We have to ask ourselves that question if we're comfortable. And once upon a time, I would not have been comfortable going and talking to somebody else about what it is I don't know. These days, we can go on Google and put in the question, best app for money, best app for relationships, best app for babies or children, etc., etc. And you know what? When you've got the app and you apply yourself, it is brilliant, the outcomes you can get. So you don't have to go out, you don't have to let others invade your space if you're not ready. I want to show you this app. I have this beautiful goddaughter, and now the most amazing things. There's an app called the Wonder Weeks, and as you go through Oh, you won't see the writing. Hang on. As you can see there, it goes through and it lists what's happening that week in the baby's life. And it's brilliant. So if you're a parent, find the best app for your kids and it will help you understand what's happening for your kids at that age. And this one actually gives you exercises you can do with your baby. I'm not sure what age it lasts to, but it probably goes on for forever. Find the best money app that you can. And what we're doing is building a conscious awareness around it. And then we're increasing our education about that area of life. And it helps us put our lives into an order that we've never had. Part of this comes under our need to reparent ourselves. So we've had to learn, or need to learn, how to reparent ourselves because it just didn't happen in a healthy manner at that time. And I have a video for reparenting too if you need it. So just let me know down below and I'll add in the reparenting app, the reparenting video. There are lots and lots of books available these days, and you can get electronic downloads for books, which are just brilliant. Audiobooks. I can't tell you how many of my friends do audiobooks. So while they're doing their household chores or whatever they've got to do, or driving, if you've got to drive for an extended period, they have audiobooks on and they're constantly learning. Right? And it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And it helps you absorb the information too. What else can we do? Seek out somebody who's been down the path you're on and let them help you too. Part of healing from trauma is letting other people in and knowing that we belong, knowing that there are other people that have journeyed this journey and have become well. With the anxiety, when you address the pain points, you get to be able to grab hold of the ball of wool and begin creating the life that you want to live too. Okay, I've actually been chatting for a while. If you're here for the replay, do a hashtag replay. If you're here, say g'day. And this weekend, make time to sit down and do your pain points and decide what it is you don't know and start taking a course of action in order that you can learn, you can educate yourself about the next steps that you need to take to put order into your day-to-day life. Have the most gorgeous weekend, and I will see you again Monday morning with more information. Blessings and dreams, and bye for now.